The shit I make is timeless and I'm constantly reminded. From here on out, it's only pluses and it's never minus. Until they see me on their timeline, they never mind it. Everybody on it now, they want to get behind it. Still great even after when I close my eyelids.
Welcome to the IKECONIC Podcast, where seeing is believing and dreaming is achieving. Today we have Marcus Smith, who is a father, an entrepreneur, former NFL player, a man of many talents. How you doing today? You good?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you for having me, my guy.
Thanks for coming on here, man. How you feeling? How is life for you currently?
I mean, it's actually doing pretty good, I would say. You know, we're running the business, A&M Sports and Fitness, and I do a little real estate, and man, I'm doing a little bit of life coaching too. So, man, it's going pretty good. It's stressful at sometimes, but that's a part of, like, you know, running your own business and doing different things. Yeah.
So for the people that don't know you, tell us who you are, where you're from, and 3 things that you're grateful for.
So I'm Marcus Smith II. I'm from Columbus, Georgia. I played in the league 6 years, played with the Eagles 3 years, played with Seahawks for 2 years, and played with the Redskins I shouldn't say the Redskins. the Washington football team.
Yeah.
So, I played with them the last 2 years. And, man, 3 things that I'm grateful for, man. One is I'm grateful for God being in my life always. Right. 2, I'm grateful for my wife. Allison, if you're out there, you know.
She definitely gonna hear this.
For her, she came into my life 2015, and she actually, you know, is the reason why, you know, I'm able to do what I do. She's my backbone, so, you know, I'm grateful for her because she's an amazing woman, amazing person. And then 3, man, I'm grateful for my kids, man. They've shown me a side of me that, you know, I didn't really know was there. You know, the vulnerable side of me, especially when I had my daughter, it was crazy, man, because when you have kids, man, you kind of see little portions of yourself
in them.
Yeah. So those are the 3 things I'm most grateful for, man. Really just, you know, family and being able to provide and, you know, do things with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's it like being a father and a husband?
Yeah, man. I think for me, being a father, my father used to always tell me, like, man, you gonna see when you have kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when I had my daughter, I kind of walked away. I had walked away from the game, walked away from football. I was in Seattle because, you know, anxiety, depression, mental health reasons. I walked away, and it was when my wife was pregnant. And so I was able to not have so much stress about seeing my daughter born, and I was able to see her born, and that was like the best feeling ever. If you fathers out there, like, just wait till you actually have a child and you're in the room. Like, that's one thing you won't ever miss with that is, you know, being able to see your child born. So, man, being a father for me is amazing. I'm just glad that I can share that with somebody that I'm in love with and that I'm going to be spending the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, being a father is dope, man. I would recommend it for all guys.
Maybe in a couple years.
No. Hey, I know it.
What has been your best experience being a father so far?
For me, you know, my best experience, so I had my daughter, and my son came 2 years after that. Like, the experience that I had with them being able to go on trips, do stuff as a family. When I was growing up, I played sports. Like, that's all I ever did. So, like, anything that we did was sports related. We didn't really have time to, like, do stuff as a family. So now, me being where I am, and my wife, her family, they always went places and did stuff. It was stuff that I wasn't able to do or I never seen. Like, I had never been out of the country. Wow. So being a father and being married to her, I actually got the experience. Yeah. So now I'm like y'all, like, I want to jump out of planes.
You gotta get that done. That's life-changing experience.
Bro, I was scared to do it, but now I want to do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want to do that. I want to have that experience. So I think coming into her life and then being a father, I was kind of, she showed me a different side where, the world is so much better that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I feel like learning from people is better than learning. Like when you learn from people, you also learn about yourself. You know what I mean? So it's like you might know yourself well, but through interactions with other people, you're able to really understand like how you respond to certain things and how other people make you feel. And then inwardly you can figure out, okay, these people make me feel like this and I feel like this about myself and I feel like this about, the world and other things like that. So that's amazing.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
What would you say like defines you?
I'm a giver at heart.
Yeah.
I like to do stuff for other people before I do for myself. So I'm a giver at heart, and I want to see other people win too. Like just as much as me, I want other people to win. Like even when I bring people into the facility or they're a part of us, I always say like, man, we in this together and we all can win. And that's the motto I kind of like live behind. It's like if I'm eating, I feel like everybody else should eat too. Yeah. I don't want anybody to feel like they left out. You know what I mean? So I've always took that motto, like I'm a giver and I gotta push towards that. That's why I'm a life coach too, because what I went through with football, some guys, they need to hear that and they need somebody to guide them because like he was saying, like when we was talking offline, a lot of guys don't have the therapist or the black therapist, if you will. So sometimes I can kind of be in that gap to where if they talk to me and they can, have a conversation with me, I can let them know like if they need, therapy, or I could just be the gap for them where they could just have a conversation. Yeah. And I feel like that's really important. So really just being a giver, man.
For sure, yeah. So mental health is one of the big things that you've talked about. Talk about a little bit about your mental health journey and how you got to where you are today. Because in the Black community, mental health is oftentimes stigmatized by a lot of folks. So how did you come to terms with, hey, like I have these issues, I need to recognize these things, and here's how I can improve myself and, be in a better mental state so that I can be a better person for me, my kids, my wife, and the world? Man,
so my mental journey had started when I was 8 years old. But didn't really know it.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. We don't talk about it.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
Like anxiety, depression. I dealt with that as a young person, and none of my family really knew what it was because we didn't go to the doctor for it. If you didn't know, like, I won't say white people, but people like they have that like on their doctor's notes. Like that's something that they actually, anxiety is something that they talk about. Yeah. Like we didn't even know that was something that existed. So my mental health journey started then. And like once I got to the pros, it was, I got drafted by the Eagles 2014 in the first round. And it was stuff that I hadn't addressed when I got there. Right. So when you don't address your mental traumas, the stuff that you may been dealing with your whole life, it just travels with you. Like it goes with you as you become an adult. So everything that's in the back of your mind, it stays there, right? And it's gonna resurface itself at some point. So think about me dealing with that, not telling anybody, and trying to play the game that I love, that I actually hated, right? Because I couldn't get over my anxiety or depression, right? So I get to my 5th year, and it's funny because the year prior I tried to quit, right? I was with the Seahawks, tried to quit, and I end up, sticking it out. Yeah. And I never addressed it, right? So 5th year comes, and I'm in camp, and I could not. It was worse. It was. I was sleeping, but I wasn't sleeping. And my chest was feeling like it was caving in. And, I felt a lot of pressure just to be the athlete that I wanted to be. And I felt like I couldn't. I felt like I couldn't perform at my very best because something was weighing down on me. And at that point, I still did not know like that I was dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't talk to anybody, and I didn't want my coaches or like the front office to say, well, he's mentally weak, or you need to get him up out of here. Like he's not strong enough to be on the team. And so one day I woke up, I was going through that, I couldn't sleep, and I was like a vegetable at practice because I couldn't eat anything. And so that one morning I just woke up, and I had looked at my wife. She was pregnant at the time. I looked at her, and I had already knew that I was already there. You know what I mean? I was there. Like I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't want life anymore, really, because I didn't know that this thing it just had a control over me. So I pretty much I got in the car and I just started to drive. Right. So I'm driving. As I'm driving, I'm going to the facility, and I could picture it in my head because I can see myself driving. Yeah. Going to the facility in Seattle. Anybody that knows Seattle or who played in Seattle, whoever's watching this, like they have back roads where it's just great scenery, right? And you're going down a hill where it's like rocks on the side, and if you go over these rocks, like you're a dead man walking, right? So I started to tip my car because I was just like, man, what if I hurt myself? I ain't got to play football no more. I ain't got to worry about none of this pain no more. And I started to tip my car, and as I started to do that, my wife calls me, right? And I jerked the car back, and I'm still going down this hill. I'm talking to her on the phone, but I'm trying to rush her off the phone, right? Yeah, to proceed to do what I was going to do because I'm far gone. So I get off the phone with her. I started to tip the car again, and then my mother-in-law calls me. Her mother, she calls me, and I jerk the car back just out of scared, frustration, fear. And as I'm talking to her, by the time I'm done talking to her, I'm at the bottom of the hill. And that's when I realized, like, yo, you got a problem because God just got me out of my own way. Yeah. So I'm at the bottom of the hill like, bro, like what did I just try to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm a Christian man. I'm somebody that believes. Like, how did I get to this point? And so that's pretty much where my journey started. After that, where I started to find healing because I went to Pete Carroll and I was like my mental health is more important. I can't play right now. I can't do this. I need to go home and get my mental health together. And then after that, man, I started to do therapy. And that's what, therapy doesn't work for everyone. And I don't want to push therapy on anybody, but that's what just worked for me at the time. And that's how I started to find out who the real Marcus Smith was. Yeah. And after that, I went home. December came, or the end of November came, and I actually got to see my daughter born in October. And after I seen her born, I was ready to go back. So after that, I got signed with the Washington football team, played another 2 years, and I'm here like just doing this work that I'm doing, brother.
That's amazing. Yeah, that journey definitely is. It sounds like you learned a lot from that experience, and like having your family there is definitely what got you out of that for sure. So yeah, I would say like from playing in high school, playing Pee-wee, playing in college, was there like a lot of pressure being a good player? Did you think that lended hand to the added weight and anxiety that was weighing on you? Yeah,
I think I was always a quarterback. Yeah, my whole life, and when I got to school. It was one of they pulled the trickaroo on me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Coach Strong was like, the only reason I went to Louisville was because
he thought you were gonna play QB.
Yeah. Dang. I was trying to do my Lamar thing, but I ain't nowhere. I ain't nowhere near Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they pretty much they told me I was gonna play quarterback. I got there. It was 2 seniors in front of me, so I really wanted to get no burn like that. I wanted to get no tick. So. He came up to me and asked me, did I want to switch positions? I'm like, man, I'll do whatever it takes to get on the field, right? And so think about not ever playing the position before. Yeah. And, they didn't cut me any slack either. It was no excuses. So, I just felt it was a lot. It was a lot of pressure. And not to mention student athletes, we have to do well in school too.
Yeah.
We have to keep up our grades in order to play. So I think that was a lot of it too. And I almost quit in college too because I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere or I wasn't getting any better. And it was until my coach, he's actually the defensive line coach in Seattle now. It wasn't until he brought me in the office and he was like, I need you to stick with it. You're going to make a lot of money playing this position. I just need you to stick with it. And that's what kind of gave me the motivation to keep going. But I was still dealing with stuff and I was still not in my right, not in my right head at the point in time. But that's what really just kept me going, right?
Yeah.
And when you're in college, it's just like anything else. Like when you're in college, you don't really got to stretch. You don't really got to do much like to go play, right? So I was still in a place of not. I wasn't in a good place at the time, but that's what got me through. His message kind of got me through, but I didn't have him once I got to the pros. It was like
nobody there for you.
Nope.
Yeah. So being a first round draft pick, that comes with a lot of attention, comes with a lot of eyes on you. What was that experience like for you?
Man, it was that experience. It was like bittersweet because I didn't know what I was walking into. Right. I'm the first person in my family to ever make it that far. So I didn't. We talked about my financial advisor a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And he came into my life like right before the draft. And he taught me, he was teaching me things at the time, but my peoples, they couldn't tell me because they didn't really know. Yeah. And then the fans with the Eagles, like, I love my teammates, but them Eagles fans, boy, like, and they'll say, like even with like Ben Simmons and all the stuff going on with that, right?
Yeah. I
can tell, like, even with Ben Simmons, it's just a love-hate thing. Like, it's like I love being here with my teammates, but
the fans are just crazy.
Yeah, don't nobody like me.
Yeah. And
that's how it was with me. It was like I'm trying to do everything that I can. That was a time where I was really feeding into what everybody thought about me. It was hard for me not to look at the comments and for what people saw, right? And that was pretty much my experience. My experience was, I wouldn't say it was the best experience. I was happy to be around, my teammates, be around LaShawn McCoy and all these other guys, right? But my experience, I would go back to my room, like, crying in my room, like, bro, I can't believe, like, this is happening to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking about what other people think. So I hadn't matured yet. So it was almost like going into a lion's den. That's what it felt like.
That's crazy. So you spoke a little bit about your financial advisor and the big role that he's played with you. And I know a lot of NFL athletes, they struggle with financial literacy and just managing their money. How has your financial advisor helped put you in a better position from first entering the NFL to now being retired?
Yeah, man. So my financial advisor came into my life 2014. And first he taught me how to budget, right? I didn't know anything about money. I didn't know anything about anything when it comes to money. Like, I wish I would have had a credit card in college because I could have built my credit, right? Because when I tried to buy my mom a house,
they didn't even bank.
Bro, they put me through so many loopholes because I didn't have any history of payments. Right. And so he taught me how to budget first. So I learned how to budget what I have. I even had a roommate my first year in the league, me and Jordan Matthews. Like, people was looking at us like, how y'all the first and second round pick and y'all got y'all roommates. Right. But that allowed me to really just find out how to budget and how to move my money in a way that would best see fit for me. I wasn't trying to spend, right? And then after that, he started to teach me about, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. And I started to invest into BlackRock, Amazon, Home Depot, like just a lot of stocks that
Quality companies.
Yeah. Big time companies that are still doing really well today. And he has played a big part in that because he actually sat me down and he actually would go over everything, even if I didn't get it, because, it was like foreign language. So it took me a while to get it. Mm-hmm. But once I got it, it's been paying huge dividends for me today. Like even when COVID hit, it was down. I was down for like a couple of months. Mm-hmm. But right now it's just going crazy.
Yeah.
And that's because he taught me how to ride the wave. Mm-hmm. And that's just how the market works. And I appreciate him for that, man. He's on Forbes too. Y'all got to go look him up.
What's his name? Plug him so
Walter Stith.
Walter Stith. Okay, dope. Yeah, definitely check him out. It seems like he know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he a dope dude, man. I'm telling you.
So in terms of financial literacy, then the business side of things, being a retired NFL player, how have you pivoted now into becoming an entrepreneur, and what has that been like?
Man, it's been tough. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna sit up here, and say that it's been easy.
Yeah.
Because being an entrepreneur means that you have to, be on your P's and Q's, and there's some type of structure that has to be involved. So like once I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted a gym. I knew I wanted to get into real estate. Mm-hmm. So I kind of dibbled and dabbed in it while I was playing, so it wouldn't be as hard when I transition out. But with all the stuff that I've learned, like I did a property in DC. Well, not DC, Fairmont Heights, Maryland. Mm-hmm. Bought a property there and I flipped it. It was a rental. I mean, not a rental property. It was a property that I bought and that I flipped. But that property kind of gave me like absolute hell, right? Because I just jumped in, and I jumped in while I was in the league too. So I couldn't really, make sure the contractors were doing what they needed to do, and they were just really just taking my money and just, oh, he ain't here, right? So I get home and ain't nothing done, right? Mm-hmm. And so I went through that, losing money with that, but luckily once I flipped it, I kind of like gained all my money back. So it's been real like life lessons that I've had to learn, even with A&M Sports and Fitness. I have a gym, about that, and even with the kids that we have and like the down seasons, I'm really just getting involved in that now because we started in February. So we started in February at the height of everything. Yeah. People was not. They wasn't playing sports well, not sports, but they wasn't in season.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to see that side of it, and really just trying to do the marketing side, do a better job with that too as well, because man, you got to have a team, you got to have everything in place, and that's where I'm trying to get. I'm not perfect, I'm not there yet, but I'm definitely trying to get there. That's why I admire you, bro. Because man, you doing your thing, and as an entrepreneur, like us as brothers, like we got to be able to do that and be able to see other brothers doing really well.
Yeah.
And and try to continue to do that and uplift each other. That's what it's about.
And even sharing the knowledge and sharing the wisdom. Like if I know something, I'm never gonna be stingy with the information. I'm gonna try to put somebody else on so they can put somebody else on, because it's plenty of food on the table, and the more that you give, the more that you get. So that's something that I push heavy for folks, having an abundance mindset, because with the scarcity mindset and like holding on to information because you don't want anybody else to know because you feel like the opportunity might leave you, you're not going to get abundance from that. But having an abundance mindset and being like, I'm going to continue to give because I'm going to continue to get. So, and that's all based on what you believe, but that's just my personal belief. So,
I believe it with you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super important. You talked about being a mentor to the kids and getting into the kids football space and things. What got you into life coaching? What made you want to hop into that avenue?
What made me get into life coaching was the quickest way for me to, like, being a therapist. You have to go back to school and you have to go through this whole process, right? Mm-hmm. Life coaching, you can get a certification and just start, right? And I think for me, I just have a knack of talking to people. I can't diagnose you. I can't give you medicine.
Yeah.
But what I can do is help you and guide you through your own process, and you make, rational decisions off of what I not preach to you, but what I say to you and how I say it. And so I think I do that really well. I didn't realize it till I actually started to life coach, and I started to see the feedback of some of the people that I did it with, and even in the NFL, man. I'm trying to become a life coach in the NFL as we speak, so I can actually talk to guys, help guys through their transition too as well, because it's a lot of us, man, suffering in silence.
Yeah.
And some people won't go see a therapist. So maybe I could be that bridge, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be amazing. I feel like, and coming from someone that looks like them, that's had similar experiences, they'd receive that better than just some random dude saying like, come talk to me about all your problems and issues, because that's a prideful thing for a lot of folks. So I feel like that'd be a great resource to have for those NFL players and those incoming NFL players. Yeah, that's dope, man. It seems like you've gone through a lot of personal growth, from playing in college and getting to the NFL and now being, a father and an entrepreneur. What would you say if you were talking to the younger version of yourself? What advice would you give yourself looking back if you could talk to young Marcus?
Take your time. I seen something, I think it was Rick Ross. He was like, I don't know if he was on the Breakfast Club or he was on one of the podcasts, and he was just like, I don't care what we do. If it take 10 years, like, I just don't want to waste no time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it don't matter. Like, I used to have this mentality, or, Instagram can be a killer of joy too.
Yeah.
Right? Because you see everybody.
The best of them.
Yeah. Right? And we won't never talk about, like, the stuff we go through to get to certain places, right? Even if we talking about real estate, right? I'm going to tell you some of the stuff that I went through real estate, so you can actually, build a picture of like, hey, I don't want you to go through this, you know what I'm saying? So you can build that, you know what I mean? I don't want you to have to deal with that. Take time, slow down, and not feel like I have to be rushed into certain stuff, because naturally with the algorithms, right? Stuff that you like is gonna show, right? It's gonna show up, and then you could really get in a place where it's like, bro,
you
like,
feel like you slacking and you feel like you're not where you need to be at. But
right.
Everybody got their own journey, so it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's how it is for real.
Everybody, bro, you said it. Everybody has their own journey.
Yeah,
and you are running your own race.
That's facts.
So when that boy Nip say it's a marathon, it's really a marathon.
Yeah.
Like, when you see most people that you see who are doing really well,
they started from somewhere. Yeah, so
they had to go through something.
They had to go through something. So you can't compare yourself to somebody who's been in the game. They got skin in the game. So
exactly. People want like microwave.
Insta success. Or something. Nah, that ain't the way to go.
Yeah.
What would you say are your plans for the future? What things are you looking to do in the next couple of years or long term?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think I'm looking to, I want to become, I talked about it a little bit, I want to become a life coach for the NFL. With my real estate business, I'm looking to at least obtain like 10 properties. Right now I have 3, but I want 10 total. And we could go more, but that's just a goal. I want to get to
doors.
that. And man, with A&M, I really want to build one of the biggest wellness spaces in the DMV, where we have not only your training, right, or your general population training or football, basketball, whatever, but I want people to be able to come in and get life coaching as well, right? I want the wellness piece to really be a part of what we're trying to do, because I noticed that a lot of some people take insurance, right? Some like therapists, but a lot of people in our community, they either don't have insurance or they can't pay for the service. And I want to be able to give them that service and not them have to worry about, paying for something or they won't even come in there. They got to pay for it. You know what I mean? I want to be able to give grants and be able to give people that time. So that's pretty much my goals. And that's how I see it. Probably like maybe 3 to 4 years down the line. And I'm still building out my vision board too. Yeah. Cause that really helps me kind of like see my vision really.
Yeah. That's good to hear. Well, it was a pleasure speaking to you. I definitely learned a lot about you and a lot from you, about mental health and, just following your own journey, following your own path. And if you're not right up top, you can't expect to perform at your highest level in whatever it is you're doing, whether it be football, whether it be school, whether it just be life or, being a good person in general. So, it's a pleasure having you on the podcast and soaking that information up from you. Plug your social media where they can find you, A&M, your businesses, and then we'll do a final word of wisdom from you.
So Instagram, MoneyMark91. I need to change that.
That's that football name.
Hey, for real though, because my teammates, they the one that gave me the name.
For real?
Like they started calling me Money Mark. But yeah, it's MoneyMark91 1C. MoneyMarc 91. My Twitter is Marcus Smith II. That's some more, Yeah. You go to
more
it.
Contemporary.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's
and then the A&M, the gym too.
Oh yeah, my gym is in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. We train athletes. We have trainers people who train. General population. For people who want to get right. I also do life coaching there. And it's 16,000 Trayzone Avenue.
We got a good stretch specialist as well.
Yeah, so
get you right, Michaela. Shout out, Michaela.
Yeah, shout out to Michaela. She's a stretch therapist and she's a trainer too.
She's a trainer as well. Yeah.
Yep. She gets all us right. Honestly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Final words of wisdom. What words you got for the people?
When we're traveling on this road that we call life, I want people to understand that success is not a destination. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
The way we look at it, we see stuff on TV, we see stuff on Instagram. So naturally, we're going to think that having materialistic things, having cars, jewelry, stuff that's presented to us, that brings us success. But it's really all in the mind. It's really, we're already successful.
Yeah.
Right? It's about what you think is success. It's not about what you show somebody.
Yeah.
So that's what I would want to say, man. Success it's not a destination. It's a mindset.
That's real. Hey, you heard it from the man himself. Success is a mindset. It's not a destination. Follow your own path. Follow your own journey, and you'll be just fine. Thank you for tuning into the IKECONIC Podcast. It was a pleasure having you. Have a great day.
The shit I make is timeless and I'm constantly reminded. From here on out, it's only pluses and it's never minus. Until they see me on their timeline, they never...